Okay, now this is our third tutorial of Python, where we're actually going to get into actually putting stuff on the screen and explaining exactly what it is we're doing. Now in this we're back in the Python shell in the IDLE or idle, and we're in the interactive mode, as you can tell by the three over arrows in the on the screen. Now what we're first going to show is just basic numbers and calculation things you can do. Now with Python you can do simple math, 2 plus 2, and then it gives you 4, as we all should know. Now you can also do subtraction in here. So let's say 20 minus 10, and that gives you 10. Now as you can see, it's doing this math for us. Now this shows us that in Python, just like many other programming higher languages, you can do basic math in them, and it works just fine. Now you also have multiplication, and you have division as well. And all that works as advertised, just like in math class. You know, your addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And you can even do negative numbers, and it'll do that math for you too. Now, a little quirky part about Python is when you're doing your integers and say I'm going to do 3 divided by 2, and that gives you 1. And we all know that that's not really 1. It's 1.5. But the issue is that the numbers that we're showing Python, we're showing integers, which are all your regular basic numbers with no decimal values. So if you wanted that to calculate correctly, you would have to make one of those two numbers, either the 3 or the 2, a float. So you can do that just simply by adding the decimal, and that will go to 1.5. And as you can see, if we do 3 divided by 2 decimal, you'll also still get to 1.5. Or you can be extra typey and do both, and you still get the 1.5. Now that's because you're turning it from what's called an integer to a float. Now the difference is when it's a float, it gives you a decimal point and it can store fractional values. Integers are always a whole number, whether it be negative or positive, still a whole number. Floats can have your decimal. Alright, so that is numbers. Just to take it a little further, we also have, if you want to do it to the power of, you do 2 multiplication points, so 4 to the power of 2, and that'll give you the correct power. So your powers work. And then there's another thing called modulus, which is where it'll calculate the remainder of a division. So if you take 15 and you do the modulus of 6, you're going to get the remainder of 3, because 6 goes into 15 twice, which is 12, and you're left with 3. Now that's usable in some cases. And then, of course, just like every other math thing in math class, you have your order of operations. So 2 plus 4, put a will minus parentheses 4 times 8, and then we'll divide by 2 and add 6. And as you can see, it'll figure that out. And it does it in accordance to the order of operations, and we can find that out by doing let's see, 2 plus 4 minus, we'll put in the 4 times 8 part. Oops. And now that gives you negative 26, because as you know, it does the multiplication of 4 times 8, which is in the parentheses, first, then it does your addition, so 2 plus 4, which is 6, and then minuses that from what you got when you multiplied 4 times 8, which would have been negative 36. So, as you can see, negative 32. Anywho, so as you can see, that's basic math, and Python can do it all day long. However long you want to throw math at it, it can do it. And that'll become handy later on as we get further in doing different things within a program. And we may even want to print out numbers, so it's helpful to know. So that's it, guys, for this episode, and that was Python on numbers.